How did Juwan look yesterday in practice?
Okay.
And will you up his activity today?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, we'll up his activity today. And yesterday was his first real day of practice since he's been hurt. So obviously he's got some rust to knock off and get used to football movements.
Coach, how do you envision the rotation between Bowles and Wilkinson and James?
I'm not sure yet, based upon we got to see how James looks and feels. So that's TBD.
Is you're thinking he could play Sunday if he looks good?
Yeah, he could. He's medically cleared to play. I don't know that he's football cleared to play from after 6 weeks of inactivity.
Does he have to convince you?
Yeah.
Or Mike, or-
Both of us.
Would that rotation involve James, if he's playing with Bowles and Wilkinson, like, in other words, would Bowles come out at one point when it's a three-man, if he's healthy?
It could happen that way, yeah. It could.
How long does it usually take for a guy, lineman to kind of get back into football shape when they've announced that one?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. In his case, since it was a knee, he couldn't do anything really conditioning-wise for 4 or 5 weeks. So for a big guy, they get out of shape pretty quickly. So for every guy, it's a little different.
Is it harder to manage a rotation on the line than it is at other spots, say wide receiver or DB, those places, or not?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't do it in between during a series. It start a series.
Vicky, your defense, your red zone defense has gone the last 10 drives and not allowed a touchdown. What's been the key ingredients to that?
Good play has been one, no matter what you're doing schematically. Guys have a good feel for what we're trying to do down there, and we've done a good job of executing. We've played the run well down there when they have run it of late, and we've made some plays in the passing game. We've played good.
Jonathan Harris, who you guys signed yesterday?
Yes.
What did you like about him?
I really didn't know much about him. He's a rookie, so he come from Chicago. He wasn't there when I was there. Our personnel department had just seen him during the preseason. Every one of those guys gets a certain amount of teams to watch, and they kind of liked him as a prospect for the future going forward. So we had an opportunity to claim him, so we did. And we had an open roster spot, so we're going to look at him here.
How well did you get to know Frank Reich when you guys were down in Carolina for that season?
Good. Frank was he was our starting quarterback for the first game in Panthers history. Was there for that whole year. Got along great with Frank and have known him since and seen him at his various stops. And not surprised that he's done well. He's he's a confident guy. Got a good feel for the game, smart, knows how to lead people.
What do you like about Duke Dawson at the nickelback, and where does he have room to improve there?
Well, he's got room to improve everywhere there, really. It's a hard task. He didn't get here until the week of the first game, and so he wasn't here for a lot of learning that goes on at that position, and there's a lot of learning at the nickelback position because you're basically playing a linebacker position. Everybody looks at it as a corner, but it's really a linebacker position, assignment-wise from when you're in zone and stuff. So he's getting better, but he still has a lot to learn.
Nobody's really seen you like chuck your headset or throw your play card or anything, but are you frustrated with how the first half of the season went?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you have to do those things to prove that you're frustrated. I mean, some of the most calm coaches on the sidelines have been pretty successful. I don't think Bill Belichick gets too crazy. Chuck Noll never got too crazy. Bill Walsh never got too crazy. You can go on and on. You don't have to be one of those personality guys.
Colts offense has only given up 7 sacks on the season. What has made them so successful?
They're doing a good job of pass blocking, and then the quarterback's hard to get down. He's elusive. Big, strong guy. He has shaken off some sacks and got away from sacks. So it's a combination of good blocking and the quarterback being elusive and hard to get down.
Coach, you saw Ebron a bunch of years in Detroit. Last year he was obviously, I think, Pro Bowler, and this year he's playing really well. What's changed in his game?
I just think you know, when he was at Detroit, you know, he had the high pick status, and he didn't, in their minds, fulfill that status, and they kept comparing him to guys that were picked after him that they could have picked instead of him, and I think that kind of snowballed on him, and got a new scenery, new team to be with, and he's been more of what people thought he was during the draft, and he's a good, really good receiver.
Are you surprised, impressed perhaps that the Colts, Andrew Luck retires, everyone kind of writes him off, and then now they're atop their division?
Yeah, I think it's the credit first and foremost needs to go to Chris Ballard, because they've put together a team that could withstand the loss of Andrew Luck and still keep going. You know, if you remember the last time the Colts lost their great quarterback, which was Peyton, I guess, 8, 9, or 10 years ago, you know, their season went in the tank. That didn't happen to them this time because they have a better overall team. They're not a team that relies on one or two guys. And that's credit to Chris and his guys for putting and building a really good young team.
Is that a model for you guys and others, do you think,
In regards to,
how to build a team?
yeah, I mean, you've got to build your team through the draft. There's no two ways about that. And supplement it through free agency when the opportunity arises.
Did you scout Darius Leonard in the draft?
I did. Yeah, I liked him coming out. I didn't have a second-round grade on him, which is where they took him, partly because of, you know, his college background. But I did like him, had my eye on him for the draft. And, again, kudos to Chris and his guys for taking him in the second round. And he's a hell of a player. He's got the nose for the ball, finds the ball. He's a takeaway machine, causing fumbles, picks, tipping balls. Great instincts, you know, and he's a really good player.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.